Alright, now this is where it gets exciting. So I'm going to get rid of all of this code. I'm going to zoom in a bit so that we can see it. So what our output is going to be, it's going to be kind of nice. So we're gonna prompt the user for a name, right? So once we're gonna ask the user, or enter something, enter your name. So I'm the user, I'm gonna type Shehab, and then what it prints out on the next line is hello Shehab. Amazing, right? So you're asking the user for something, and let's say the user enters John, Joe, actually. So John, and then it prints out hello John. So the user inputs this name, so the inputs a random name. I'm going to capitalize name so that you know it's a variable. It's not, I'm not hard coding this. This is a variable, and hello name, right? So I hope this might be kind of difficult at first. You might not know how to input something, how to output something. I'm actually just going to give you a really small hint. But we have C out, right? And we know C out outputs something. It's giving something out. Well, how do we take something into a variable? That's we have C in, and then we have these two inverted angular brackets. We have C out, which is like this, and C in, which is taking in. So I like to think of this as these two angular brackets is giving out, and these two angular brackets giving in, taking in. All right. So C in, which is taking in something, C out, which is giving out something. All right. So spend about maximum 15 minutes onto this problem. If you get it, great. And if you don't, if you're kind of stuck, don't worry. Try to research, or just come back and watch this video. All right. Let's start off with our basic format. Hash include IOStream using namespace std int main void, and then open curly brace, close curly brace. So I'm saying, let the computer do anything in between these two things. Right. So first we have to prompt the user, right? So our output is supposed to be, this is going to be slightly difficult to write the output, but I'm just going to say the output is going to be, I'm going to put variables first. Variables. This is, you don't have to like write this comment thing. It's just for explaining. It makes it much easier to explain it to you guys. Output. All right. I'm actually going to leave that end comment for now. All right. So what do we have to do? What's our output supposed to be? Well, first we have to take an input. So I'm actually going to create another something called input, and it's going to end this comment right over here. So what's our input supposed to be? Well, we're taking in the name, right? So this is the name, and it something over here. As I'm saying name. This is our variable. So we're entering the name, and the output should be hello, comma, name. Not exactly this, but name is just a variable. Be very careful, right? And what is our variable? We have a variable, which I'm just going to be calling name, right? So name equals name, and hello, comma, name. Right? Kind of confusing, but let's start writing and then it might get better. So a name is, well, I hope normally, unless you're like an alien or something, I don't know. It's a string, right? It's a text. So how do we have a text? Well, string name, right? And unless your parents are really mean and give you a name which is like 1 2 5 6 or something, your name is almost always a string. So name is equal to, and I'm just gonna leave it over there. I'm not gonna initialize a value to it, right? So in the previous one, we're just saying int number is equal to 5, right? But instead of writing that equals to, I'm just gonna leave it like that because we don't know what name is, right? We still have to get it from the user. So now we ask the user. We just ask the user enter. I'm just gonna put a name, right? We're asking the user to enter your name, and I'm gonna put a semicolon. Note I'm not putting end else so that it can happen in the same line. He can input his name on the same line. And now what I do, as I said earlier, is C in. I'm taking in something, and where am I putting that? I'm putting that in name, right? So I'm putting whatever he types in into name, right? So if he types in Shehab, I'm gonna put Shehab into my name variable. All right. So now what's our final output? You have to say C out, hello, and name. I'm just going to put an exclamation mark, semicolon, right? And now you might think that, hey, wait a minute. If we have name, the output would likely be, I'm just going to put the output right over here. The output, so C out name. I just type in my name, Shehab. So it doesn't go to the next line, right? We didn't put any enders. So it should just print, hello, Shehab, right? Oh no, because whenever you put a C in, whenever you input something, it never stays on the same line. It always goes to the next line. There are ways to put it in the same line, but we don't need that at the moment. And if we need that, then we'll revisit that, how to use that and how we can add the new syntax in order to do so. But for now, it's going to print in a new line. Right. Let's decode what's happening over here. So I'm just going to write it down right over here. All right. So we have a variable called name, right? Name, and we don't know what it is yet, right? So I'm going to leave that. So we have a variable name, and I'm going to zoom out a bit. All right. So we have a variable name, and we have input. So we output this thing saying name, and our input, I'm just going to say Shehab. And our output is supposed to be, well, let's say string name. So we're going to have a variable called name, which is only taking in text, right? So we output name. So output name, and we input something. We input someone's name into this variable called name. This gets kind of confusing. Might get kind of confusing. Watch this over. It might be really. It'll become really easy. And just go on to c++.com so that you can so that you can really decode this and read other sources. So input name, and then it prints out hello, comma, name. So whatever the name is. So hello, comma, and what is the name? Well, name we declared over here. So name was actually Shehab. Gotta put it here, Shehab. So hello, comma, Shehab, and then we have an exclamation mark. So we hello plus my name, which is Shehab, plus the exclamation mark. All right. So let's run this. So we save, build, and we run, and hopefully this should print out as expected. Alright, so now we're asked to enter our name. I'm just going to enter my name, Shehab, hello, comma, Shehab. So it's kind of cool where we're taking our input, process, and output, right? So our input is the user is typing in his name, the process is all this code, and the output is hello, Shehab. So it's really cool. You've done quite a lot. You've learned how to input and output, and these are really fundamental steps. And in the next videos, we'll be learning how to add and subtract numbers. These are really important because computers are themselves, like, they are addition and subtraction software, like software and systems, right? They add and subtract on their own. So in the future videos, addition, subtraction, areas of rectangles, and further on, we're going to be creating games and the rest of the stuff, like going up and down, upper, lower, forgot the name of that game. So we're going to create really cool games. We're going to learn about conditions, if else statements, loops, for loops, do while loops, and so forth. But for now, this is a really great start, and in the next video we will catch up where we will learn how to add two numbers.